I went through the river crossing. All the water came probably inside the engine, and it just stopped. It went like whoa.
Our last assignment, the Sardinia Rally, was a challenge, but it was also an event where we made lifelong friends. So much so, in fact, that we stayed on the island a little while longer, camping with Tom and Ramona, fellow riders who, like us, wanted to enjoy Sardinia just a bit more. But after a brief pause, we had to hit the road again, boarding the ferry to Barcelona. From here, we'd race across the entire length of Spain to make it to Amarante, Portugal, where our next quest was about to begin. Having arrived in Portugal, we're going to embark on a 7-day off-road tour from north to south. We will start the ride in Amarante along the Douro Valley trails. We will be covering around 200 kilometers of dirt every day, stopping at some of the most beautiful Portuguese towns like Évora in the Alentejo region. Then we're going to hit the sandy coastal routes and end the tour in Sagres at the very southern tip of Portugal.
Our task as the Motorismo Scouts is simple. We are going to join a tour with 7 other riders, filming the whole happening every single day. We will be showcasing the tour, the scenery, and what off-road riding in Portugal is all about. Our expedition begins in a traditional Portuguese quinta or ranch, now converted into something we can only call a dirt bike heaven.
Like the whole property is an enduro paradise. The grounds and the accommodation, everything, and it's kind of tucked away in the mountains. It's nearby. What is it, Amarante?
Yeah.
But you feel like you're somewhere remote, and you're in this, just this beautiful property with the motocross track, the swimming pool, like all kinds of climbs, and you can just stay there and just, that's it. And then you've got Paolo, the tour guide, and Paolo he's not just an off-road rider and still an enduro and motocross racer.
Third, fourth, fifth.
He's also a chef. He's also a traveler, so he's very worldly, and it's pretty cool just to have a chat with him because he's a character, and he just adds flavor to the whole tour. Like, he's really entertaining, and there's constant energy coming off of him, and he can talk to you about anything, about food or riding motorcycles in Mozambique, or there's all kinds of stories coming out of him, and it makes it special.
And we started as a restaurant, then with lodges, and things that we like to do is to have travelers around and touring people around in these mountains, around Portugal, around the vineyards, whatever. We also have an enduro park in the premises, but it's very good for me to train. And we do have a motocross track inside, so it's fun to live here. But the most important thing is to travel around here in this beautiful landscapes around here.
As the riders arrived, we all went over the bikes, making sure that we're ready for the journey ahead. Then it's a meet and greet dinner at the Quinta with farm-to-table food and locally produced wine, a touch of Paolo's hospitality, a quick overview of the tour, and some rest before the journey begins. Mornings can be chilly in northern Portugal, but there's nothing like the sound of motorcycle engines to get your blood pumping. A few final checks, gear on, kickstands up, and we were off, leaving the beautiful Quinta to explore the Douro Valley trails and views. I feel like I'm in the Lord of the Rings movie right now.
now at the side of a forest, and there are lots of trees and lots of mountains, and especially those mountains. If I fly backwards or sideways and I cannot see where I'm going, it's sometimes pretty scared actually. But so far so good.
Crazy part when you're filming the tour is you get on this off-road track and you like really want to go for it, and you do, and then you get carried away and you're like, wait a minute, is this a scenic shot? Should we stop here? Yeah. And then you wait for the riders to pass, and then you kind of get back into the like let's go mode, but you're not quite supposed to do that, but you are. But then you also gotta catch up with the riders, so there's a lot of chaos going on. Yeah. But it is never boring, I tell you that.
Exactly, especially what you said, like if you are riding and you are looking for a scenic spot, then you think, oh, is this the most scenic spot? Nah, maybe not. And then you go to the next, and then you think, oh, maybe the previous one was better, but we cannot turn around because otherwise we bump into the riders maybe. So I find that quite hard actually, and quite challenging to find the right spots if you don't have the waypoints or certain waypoints, to actually find a place where you think like, okay, this is it.
This is it.
What if around the corner there's a better spot?
To be honest, there was no shortage of stunning spots almost around every corner. After all, Portuguese scenery always delivers. After a long day's ride, we reached our first hotel to rest up, recharge, and get ready for the next day.
Today we're gonna eat pizza. Yesterday we were very hungry during the road and while waiting for the other riders. So this time we brought ourselves some cold pizza in case of emergency.
Very close to the Douro Valley, which is like probably the most scenic place in all of Portugal. Just follow the river and you've got these horseshoe bends and these canyon-like places. It's pretty spectacular.
The green stuff now.
Okay, yeah.
We'll be together.
Yeah, I will follow you.
Together.
This place, it's stunning. I'm from Mexico though, and Europe, it's the best place I've seen riding, because the nature, you get to feel and to explore a country by riding a motorcycle, right? You get to smell the senses, the views, the people, the food, the culture. So I'll tell you, that's the best way to get to know a country.
Riding Portugal off-road isn't just about the landscapes, it's also about history, and our next stop, Évora, turned out to be a spectacular medieval town with ancient Roman ruins still standing in the old square. It's like time itself from centuries past is looking back at you. But after a brief stop, we're off again to ride the last stretch to our next hotel. How does it feel to get up in the dark and in the cold?
It is. I'm very, very tired. Had a good sleep, but not too long. We had to work yesterday night and this morning getting up early. It's very cold outside as well. But I'm really looking forward to today. The good thing of Portugal is that during the night it's very cold, but during the day it's warm. So yeah.
Early mornings may not be your thing, but since we had some serious distance to cover every day, there was no time for sleep-ins. We were excited to ride with a bunch of guys who were always anxious to hit the dirt. So much so that we would fuel up, have quick picnic lunches on the roadside prepared by Paolo, and after sorting out our next waypoints, jump right back into the deep end. Are you still cold?
No, I'm actually quite warm. And especially now that we're going off-road, it's gonna get a lot better.
Alright, we're in this peaceful little countryside road, and it's really cool to be riding here because there's no one, right? Not a single soul.
Yeah, it's very peaceful here. You have big rocks in the landscape with some trees, but mostly it's just dead grass and very fast. It's beautiful.
Tip number 1 for water crossing. It doesn't look like much, but let's check it out.
Just stopped. I went through the river crossing. All the water came probably inside the engine, and it just stopped. It went like whoa. I think we have to drag it out, and yeah, then let it dry out in the sun. Maybe have some lunch. I don't know. Well, I'm afraid it gets either in the carburetor or in the air filter box. So yeah, to take it off it's gonna cost quite a lot of time. So first we start once more and then we'll see whether I have to take apart the whole bike or not.
Water crossing lessons learned, we had to chase after the riders and try to find them again. There was no other way to catch up with them but to jump on pavement, and yet we weren't disappointed at all because the route took us across some beautiful medieval villages with cobblestone streets. Soon enough, we caught up with the riders in Monsanto, a stunning little town dating back as far as the 14th century. Now, together with the group again, we reached our next hotel just as the dark fell.
Today is the last long day that we're riding. We are now riding from the east side, from the Spanish border towards the west coast. So the landscape is definitely gonna be completely different again.
This is my stuff, because when you're in a group, you're trying to catch up, you're trying to film things. Fast tracks are... Having reached the southern tip of Portugal, where the woods and mountain trails were replaced by sandy tracks, cliffs plunging into the Atlantic Ocean, and coastal views, we had to say goodbye to Paulo and the riders, but we wish we could repeat the experience. You can join it too. Go to www.MOTOURISMO.com or click on the link in the description below and book your own Portuguese off-road adventure.
Although our bikes needed some maintenance after the Portugal run, we received a call from the Motorismo headquarters sending us to Andalusia the next day. We had to cover over 600 kilometers in one day to make it to our next assignment, but that didn't go quite as planned. Egle had to unexpectedly drop out while I was offered a mystery bike and had to race after fast road riders on Spanish twisties. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned and to follow our motorcycle adventures around the world.